The
Selectmen's meeting.
Item 3, okay. Hello and welcome to Capital Improvement Planning Committee, March 27th. We're here tonight to go through the final list of capital requests that have been submitted by the town department heads. Tonight we will vote to approve and move forward the articles to town meeting. So with that, we're going to open up for discussion. We have a little bit to talk about with funding. We're not really sure, since George has been on vacation for the last couple of weeks. How it normally works is George provides the committee with what he feels is the available free cash to do some of the smaller projects. George did provide us with a list of short-term, smaller projects, one-time payments, and bonding projects. George would typically give us some direction on what he feels is available free cash, so we could have an idea of the money we can spend. What we do then is we prioritize and approve our projects. We go down the list till the money runs out, and we draw the line. We defer the rest to the next year. Same with the bonding. George typically will look at what we have for free cash that we can put into the stabilization fund to give us 5 years of payments for each bonding project. So he gives us some direction on that as well. So again, we look at the bonding projects. We don't have to vote them. This is just George's idea of what we could afford if we felt the need to approve all these. We don't really have that solid guidance from George. So tonight, we need to figure out what we want to do on that. So we have a couple of choices. One choice is to go through like we normally would in any other year, with the assumption that we have the money to pay for this. And if it turns out that we don't, we could, at town meeting, defer these projects or pass over them. The other option is try to figure out what we absolutely have to do in this June town meeting, and then have a special town meeting in the fall for just for capital projects. We've done that a couple years in the past, so that works as well. So we'll talk about that tonight, and then we'll figure out what we want to do as a committee, and then we'll start the voting. So with that, I'll open it up. Thoughts on which direction you want to go?
I guess we'd have to prioritize time-sensitive
Right.
projects that are going to be affected by the delayed meeting. Quite frankly, myself, any bondable item, I think we need further guidance for the further forecast.
Okay.
But some of these items are out of, whether it's the ambulance fund or the water stabilization fund.
Right.
And those things we could,
Those, there's no funding issue, so those ones we could certainly do.
and then, hypothetically, the free cash,
The only thing I'm concerned about is John's road repairs.
well, that's a big
Because,
one.
he does a lot of his paving in the summer, so he needs those funds immediately. As soon as June 30th hits July 1st, he gets those funds. I hate to, if we basically wait till the fall, he loses a whole year, so now he's behind on his road plan. So I'd like to move that forward at least, the road repairs. But and sometimes they can do those temporary bonds. I forget what they call them, temporary, but they're a short-term bond to get us through until we do the big bond. So I think the treasurer can float those or get those short-term funding mechanisms in place. So even if we did like $500,000 for the roads, we could defer that, and then if we approved a lot of the other ones in October, then the treasurer could wrap them all together and do a one bonding issue and pay back the short-term.
So you want to start with the roads?
Want to do that?
Yeah, I think,
Okay.
let's,
Okay. All right, so let's look at the road repair. For those watching at home, this has been a long-term investment from the Capital Committee to the DPW. We typically provide funding for John's roads. We've been doing it, I think, for 6 years now. As people drive around, they can see the roads have been much improved over the years. The goal is to get the roads to a point where when the roads due for repair in 20 years, we do it in 20 years. Previously, the roads would have 20-year useful life, and we'd look at them at year 35. They're totally disintegrated. Major upgrades cost twice as much to fix. Once John's on track, he can do crack sealing. He can do the less expensive maintenance to keep the roads going longer. Then when he does finally repair them, they're not disintegrated. He's just doing the top layer, and it's a lot cheaper, and we get more money, more bang for our buck in that area. So that's worked well. So we're continuing that. So with that, I'll take a motion for to approve that road repair.
I'll second.
Motion? No, I'll take a motion. Who
I'm
wants?
sorry, take a motion.
motion to
So
remove.
moved.
Motion Dave,
Yeah.
Rob, second. Typically what we do is we do the committee, we have the same people motion and second. A little easier for the person taking the minutes.
Motion second.
And the other thing too, this is a very important meeting for any bond issue. Bond council will look at these minutes very carefully, you know, what articles we approved and first, you know, motion, second, all voted, everything's good, and then those minutes have to be approved pretty quickly, and then they get to the town clerk. Because that's one of the due diligence that the bond council will look, you know. In the years past, it's been, you know, if they weren't perfect, they get nervous, the bond council, so, just for Dan's knowledge. Okay, so we have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No discussion?
Oh,
All right,
discussion?
any discussion?
The only thing I was gonna say, so the roads are 517.
Right.
Proposed figure out there that we think we can do is 727, maybe, thereabouts.
That's the 5-year payments.
Okay,
The bond payment for that would be 5 years would be 197,
okay,
so about 40,000 a year for $500,000.
I got you, Glenn, sorry, I was looking
That's okay.
at the total, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion?
None.
Again, my only issue is going by what, you know, George's last meeting with us was, you know, insecure about any, you know, bondable issues,
Right.
any payments going forward.
Right.
So I would, you know, the road thing is something that we made a major commitment on, and I'd like to continue that. But, you know, we also probably need to prioritize or look at this bond list and figure out which ones we are gonna vote on, which ones we're not gonna vote on.
Right. Well, we can certainly do that, but,
So we're gonna put the roads as number one?
yeah, we're just gonna
Priority.
do I think we should, in my opinion, we should do the roads regardless, you know, because even if that's the only thing we've approved, they won't float a bond just for that, they'll do the temporary bonds.
Right.
And then we can look, you know, we can defer to October if we need to, if we decide as a committee we want to do that. Or do we want to go through and approve what we feel is important, and then wait till town meeting, if there's no funds or we don't know,
Well,
we
can
can
do
pass
that.
them over.
It's difficult not knowing the numbers, because quite frankly, like, if we had, you know, this list to prioritize, we could be, you know, maybe, you know, instead of the 517,000, maybe we would have to cut that to give
Agreed.
one of the other projects money this year. So it's hard, because I'm voting on something, I want to continue with the roads like we have.
Okay, so you wanna prioritize the
But-
list?
So we can prioritize it, but what I'm saying is that if we had to, you know, that's a number that we could change.
Right.
If we had to,
Right.
because of some of maybe the other things on the list.
But that's where I'd look for information from the town administration, we talk about free cash that we don't have full access to.
Right, and
So
I-
we're prioritizing
Right.
in a bubble.
And I understand that, and I understand, like, so but the only
Because
one
I'm
that can
looking,
tell us
of
that.
course, I'm the liaison from the school committee, so I'm looking at, you know, central school interior and the roof, which are, you know, potentially slates falling off the roof onto the playground. So when we look at the prioritization list and the cost, I really think that it's important to look at what we actually have to work with before we start the prioritization list. And so I think what you were talking about, maybe it'd make more sense if we can defer to October until we have a better sense of
Right. So-
where our financial
And I-
position is
and I agree
before
with
we
you
start to
there.
prioritize, because I don't want to direct funds to one area when we have an area that could potentially be an emergency.
I'd be in favor of doing that as well.
Yeah.
But I would like to move forward with the roads, only because he'd lose a whole,
I agree that time sensitive
on the-
is the roads is one of the ones that I agree. And again, you know, we can stay with this 517 number.
Right.
However,
well, you know, we still have time, the
Yeah.
meeting's not till June, so.
Can't we amend the article at the town
Yes,
meeting as well?
absolutely.
That's a
what
smart,
we can.
yeah.
there you go.
So we could get it
That's a smart-
approved, get it on the warrant, and then at town meeting, we can certainly either pass it over, we could modify it, you know, amend it.
Right.
And by then,
But once we have a better understanding
Yeah.
of what our actual free cash position
Right.
is, so that we can see what everything slots into before we commit. And that works for the schools as well as the town, you know?
Yeah.
Didn't you say free cash was 7-something?
I thought Phyllis said it was close to like over 1 million, 1.3 or something, but I can't confirm that.
Right. I just hate to
So
make
that's
a
what I mean,
recommendation
I mean-
and say, we don't really know what we were
On-
talking about when we made the
Oh, on
recommendation.
the town warrant, yeah, this is what George had preliminary put, was the
Right.
721 to go from free cash into a stabilization fund, which matches up with the 5-year bond payment. So when George, when he first put this together, he was assuming, you know, he thought we had enough money to do this. Where it came into play was the rumors of a play on the stabilization fund. And that's where George is getting nervous, and he's thinking, if someone wants to do that, did anyone read the article about Whitman?
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't read the article, I heard.
Whitman
Whitman-
Hanson Regional?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They went after their stabilization fund.
Yeah.
They did it last year. They drew that all down.
15%, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, their budget went way up, so then this year, they don't have the
11%
stabilization
last
fund in the
year,
same spot they were
14%.
last year.
Right.
So now they're cutting
year.
the town departments, you know what I mean, the police, fire.
But as a
so-
regional district, they don't have the same level of transparency that
That's
we
right.
have as a local district.
Right.
So they don't have to say exactly where the money's going. They appropriate it, and then internally, they can spread it out
Yeah.
how they like, whereas we have to, well, we're the most transparent
True. No, right.
department in the entire town. We have line by line about teacher salaries that are posted out there.
Right.
We talk about how much we spend on pencils.
Right.
So everybody knows where every single nickel goes. And so I think that there's a distinction there, and we're looking at, less than 3%
Right, right.
versus our neighbors who are looking for 14%.
Right.
So just like to say that out loud.
Yep.
On the bond thing, I prioritize, I got 3 out of that whole list that I see that there's a need.
I think I'm seeing probably the same 3, but we should probably go through that and
So I'm with the roads, I'm with the middle school front doors, and the
Yeah.
radios.
Can we go, we had a motion in a second. Did we officially
No,
approve?
we didn't, no.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, We're still in discussion.
Still in
I
discussion.
Still in
popped in for
discussion,
discussion. I apologize.
That's okay.
My only question on that one there for the radio system for the fire department, if that comes out of the ambulance fund? Or is that 65 gonna be where it is bonded?
That's in the bond, that's in the bond.
Okay. Like those 3 are the only ones that I see at this time.
Which one's
time.
the radios?
The radios, the vestibule for the
for the middle school
middle
Okay.
school, and the roads.
and the roads. And when it comes to we could still even ask them to take it from the ambulance fund, to see where the ambulance fund stands at this point.
Right, so you're about 600 and, I
Right.
don't know, 20,000 just on those 3.
Yeah, I mean, if he had money, he could do the 65 as a one-time payment out of the ambulance fund, that's for sure, if Chief had that in there.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to bond it, you know. George typically, I think he makes a cutoff around 50,000. Anything 50 and under, he puts as one time, and anything over 50, he puts in the bonding.
Yep.
And then,
That's not etched in stone, we have
They can see
flexibility.
the Office 365 mitigation.
49, yeah.
Migration is 49, and the fob system is at
Yeah,
50.
so It's pretty clear where the cutoff is. But
Those
that,
are
again, the
one-time
fob
payments.
system is something they probably want to do in the summer, right? You know, when schools
Yeah, I would
close,
imagine, I would
you know what
imagine, I
mean? So
can't, I
that-
can't speak for,
That
Mr.
probably makes
Tyler
sense
or Liz,
to-
but-
that's something that it's a
That's a
safety
security
issue.
But that's,
so we
yeah,
need
exactly,
to
safety,
do that.
security, so, I mean, regardless
is-
of what side of the line it's on.
There is some
Right.
things in this list though I'd like to do, but yet it's hard without having the right
But you just,
information.
we're gonna vote them, prioritize them, and we can amend.
We can amend. So and
Well,
then,
is that what we want to do, or do you want to defer to the special town
Well,
meeting?
when you amend, you can always defer it, correct?
We can pass them over.
Pass it over and then put it to that.
Right.
So basically, when we met with Dave, he needed us to make votes on this and pass it into him.
I mean, I go for leadership, let's prioritize it, let's,
Okay.
have the argument that we need to have and get out there and make our, we'll vote on it, everyone puts their name on it. I just think that's the best way to put it in front of the town, so that we come forth as when we recommend it, we can say who recommended what.
So you wanna go back to the bond list, and does anyone see that there's others than those 3? What, does anyone else have any feelings on?
go ahead.
I was just at the IT infrastructure upgrade, I think we have to do from a town-wide perspective because they're not gonna be supported anymore as of January.
Right.
And just to piggyback on that, if the school's looking for our highest priority right now is for the IT upgrade and the firewall replacement, that this is an opportunity to kind of wrap everything around together so that
The wireless or the infrastructure one?
It was the infrastructure
Both.
upgrade. The
Well,
wireless, he said he could, from a town perspective, he said he could live without, or he could do it in piecemeal fashion.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
John he had scratched off the firewall.
I have an email from him saying the firewall's on the list.
This is what John gave us, and he had scratched these out himself. IT firewall FortiGate, he put a line through it. See right here, move to 2021. IT backup Barracuda, move to 2021. So, then,
Yeah.
yeah, so that, and then he added these bottom ones, which was the server and then the wireless upgrade. So, That's what John Shea gave us. He gave me last time he was here.
I have number one, server operating system and firewall replacement / upgrade.
Okay, firewall update, okay.
I listed my summary form, the amount of
Okay.
$178,380.
I have that.
I've received quotes, which I have attached. The total quotes are $141 from Hub Tech, $28,380 from Unified, for a total of $169,975.
So we were talking about different things. So that's included there. Then he had a separate IT firewall for
For the,
FortiGate.
was that the
That he-
35,000 and the 25? Yeah.
The 20, he pulled those, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
He
Well,
pulled
the
those
sa-
too. I think they're bundled in
Yeah.
to this one.
Okay.
But I think that one of the things that we should think about, in regard to what you were saying, is that if we're gonna have an IT upgrade, and it's gonna happen at the school buildings and at the town administration buildings, it really makes sense to kind of bundle them together.
Absolutely, and they
So
should be
that,
working
you know,
together.
there's
They should
economy of
do-
scales, and so that
Yeah.
everything is happening at the same way, they're integrated.
Right.
Instead of having piecemeal, you do this, you do
Right.
that, and bring them in. So, if, some of them are bonding issues, some of them aren't, but the way that we incorporate them all, the smart way to do it,
Well,
in my
They'll
opinion.
both be bonded. That 178, that's not on this George's list. That's one I added.
Yeah. Right.
There's three I added. The wireless upgrade for 73,000, I put under the bonds. The server replacement for 178, I put under the bonding. And then the DPW generator, I put 73, I put that on the bonding as well.
Okay.
So that you added them to this list?
Yeah, because they weren't on this list originally.
Okay, so.
Yeah, this
so
was the
what
list
The first one was a school wireless upgrade for 73,417. And then the server replacement, 178,380.
Which he's actually since reduced to 169,975.
169. So let's round to 170, okay?
Yeah, just
Dealing with this kind of money, I don't think the dollars really matter. $300 or $200.
If the number went up, I would have agreed with you, but the number went down, so I wanted to say it out loud.
Okay, fair enough.
Joe, how many things you have in bond?
So 1, 2,
What was the generator?
9, 10, 11. Generator was 73,000. Change. but-
So
And
you just add three more?
wasn't that gonna be out of water?
Yes.
Oh, okay, right, so that's not bonding. Okay, that's out of water.
That's where, that was out of the enterprise, yeah.
I'm sorry, out of water? I'm not sure what that
The
means.
water,
enterprise fund.
the enterprise
Oh,
fund?
Water fund.
Okay.
Water bill money.
So these three.
Who's server replacement center?
That's the school. That's on this one here. These two are added. So they were added after George had done his list.
School server. 173.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? DPW.
Generator.
No, what's the other one?
73.
Before that?
The wireless upgrade, which is right here. 73. All right.
Is it easier to go in reverse order?
You want-
The only reason I ask that is because I would recommend not doing anything with the central school interior until that study's done.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
I agree with that.
Was the study even voted on? Or approved?
I believe they already had the money in their current budget
Who
to
did?
do it at the schools.
Facilities, maybe.
Or facility, it was between,
Right, right.
he was gonna go back to Liz, to release the funds to do that.
Okay.
And, well, it was either, I can't remember if it was this committee or finance, one of the two instructed him to do it. I don't remember
Okay.
which meeting I was in.
Finance that. It
Um,
wasn't us.
But I would think that should probably be our bottom,
Right.
or lowest priority.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have time for that.
right.
Go ahead, Chris.
Huh?
Go ahead.
I'm just dumbfounded by it all, but anyway. Because we're spending a lot of money doing the boilers right now, so we will do a study and then open up that whole. So when it comes down to not only the interior of the central school, but we've got the slates of the central school, which is the roof.
Right.
So, again, everything's in limbo. And, so when it comes to the slate roof, I imagine we're gonna have to put that one again, with the interior, if we're gonna be doing the study. Because we're not gonna do a boiler and a roof, and then go do a study and maybe move a school somewhere else.
Right.
I've heard nothing about anyone talking about moving the school or doing anything else. Everything has been focused on.
The study is
I don't think you were
to,
here for that meeting with Liz and John.
the study isn't about, we've already got a study that what the expenses of the school to do the repairs, which was the path that we were already on starting last year.
Right.
We have now come off the rails, in my opinion, and we're doing a study, was to look at other
Options.
properties and options before we, or not before, I guess, as we are paying money to repair the central school. So I quite frankly don't understand what good the study's gonna do if we've already started the process of repairing the central school. But
I
I
will make
guess
a phone call.
that went around the, it's not something that we're voting on, so it's, if that's coming out of the budget of facilities or school budget.
Right.
Facility?
One of the, I don't
One of
remember
the
which
two.
one it was in. but-
So,
I haven't seen the line item.
but what that does, quite frankly, is how do you do any of these school projects now if we're gonna do a study
Right.
that may be looking at doing something other than that project?
Well, again, I think what we're looking at, Chris, is as we sit here as capital, we agreed to do the boilers, and part of what the next thing might have been was roof, what have you. I think the study is determining whether we continue on that path of each year taking another project on, or maybe this study opens up a different look at it, and
Well, I mean, I understand about the process of doing the school, but
This is
the way I interpreted the study was we were also gonna look at an addition maybe on the middle school or a different path.
Right,
So
right.
That's what that study is.
That is that study,
So,
correct.
so if we're doing that, that to me puts the halting brakes on throwing money at the central school, which I gotta tell you, quite frankly, I was already on the path of remodeling and going forward on fixing the central school. But, you know, I didn't ask for the study and I don't, you know what I mean, I'm only,
Again, in
One
this
guy
case,
here.
unfortunately, I can't speak for the committee. I
No.
haven't
Well,
heard any information
I
about
think you
anything
missed that,
other
you weren't
than,
at that meeting, right, Ron?
it's possible, but it hasn't come up in a school committee meeting.
John
No
and Liz
one's-
were here.
no
Well,
one's
Brian Kiley, he
passed.
basically talked about it.
any information on to me that, as
Yeah.
far as I know, that the central school is sustainable. It's gonna take an investment.
but
Right,
that,
but-
It would be a lot cheaper.
But Brian was like, you know, at the end of the day, we do all this infrastructure upgrades
Yeah.
for millions of dollars, and it's still a 1950s classroom.
Yep.
We haven't touched that, and he was like, that's what he started saying, well, you know, do we need to do all that? I mean, then now you start saying, well, if we're gonna remodel that and make it like a brand-new school, you know, every classroom being remodeled, then it's gonna be just as much money as a brand-new school or whatever, do you know what I
Right,
mean?
but that was never
So
our
that was
beginning
never
plan.
I thought
we were on a different path.
we thought we were just gonna upgrade the infrastructure and
Right.
keep it the way it
And-
is.
That's everything that I hear,
Yeah.
and not for nothing, from a capital standpoint, I think it would be irresponsible to go down the road of looking to remodel or refurbish or upgrade the school without looking at what the alternatives are.
Right, but to your point there,
Right.
when they came to us for a $1.3 million boiler setup, we went through the process of having a structural engineer look at the building. We wanted to make sure that we invested good money into something that we were gonna have.
Right.
We did that, and it came back as a positive building, we can do this. Then we voted, which is a big vote, I take it serious, that's a lot of money to do the boiler system, knowing that we're gonna have to start, you know, 1 year we'll do windows, 1 year we'll do roof, or however we're gonna do the remodel. But in his excelled
Right.
version, it was gonna cost the town over a period of time, I think it was $6 million. If we go into doing a full-out remodel, we're talking 30 million.
Right.
So that's a big, I didn't even know I stepped my foot into that path.
Right.
I was on a path of trying to fix the issues that the central school had.
I'd have to see those numbers before I
So-
could
so-
comment on it, but I do
right.
know that the state came in and they appropriated 56% of the boiler
Boiler.
project.
Correct.
To fund the central
Right.
school.
Yeah,
And
and-
I imagine that they had, I don't know this
Right.
firsthand, I wasn't there, but I imagine that before they did that, that they had engineers come in and
They
take a
did.
look and say,
And they
what
offered
makes
us
the most
some
financial
of an
sense
Excel-
before we make that
an
investment.
Excel remodel plan to be some of that same funding that we could continue on if we, that's what we were hoping to do.
Yeah.
Right, right.
But to me, the study opens up like a whole nother can of worms. And then when the study comes back and it gives you three options, who's gonna decide the next three
So,
options?
we approved $50,000, whatever it was, to
For the study.
investigate the study.
Yeah.
When the school did this plan, the state came back, we had to throw that money toward that.
Just what, did the
So we
school do the
couldn't do the
plan, or
study
did the
until
DPW?
after.
Because, I mean, I love Liz and Gina and John. but-
Brian was the one,
But they're not the ones who
Facilities
decide
put
whether or
that
not
money,
the
no, but facilities put that
building
money.
is fit for remodeling or
Oh, but
demolition.
Brian did that. as the
Brian put
facility.
that up as an article. So that was a facilities article
Right.
for that assessment.
So that's not the, I'm just saying, that's not the schools coming and asking for money, that's
Right. No, no.
the
No,
town.
not by any stretch. It was
Yeah.
Brian saying we should take a look at what the options are before we spend any more
Right,
money.
so what that does, what Chris is saying is that just makes these projects, we should defer them until we
How
get
do
the
we
study.
do it? But to me, we're slowing
So-
down what we've already started, like.
In other words, how do you do an assessment at the same time we're dumping more and more money into that?
This is where you go, this is where I go back to the structural engineers and the contractors and whatnot to find out, is the roof safe? Are the bones safe? I mean, I'm not
Well, it's
qualified
a-
to say
it's
that.
a-
No,
it's
I
a-
guarantee you
it's a-
that nobody on the school committee
Right.
or in the school committee of school administration is qualified to make that determination. So, I mean, I hate to, I'm not trying to like punt the football,
Right.
but I'm not qualified to make that determination.
Yeah, well, no one-
I
I
can't
think to
talk about-
Chris's point, though, if we do another assessment and all of a sudden somebody comes back and says, geez, you know something? We've kind of revised this and maybe we should go a different direction. We just dumped $1.5 million minus the 56% into boilers
Right.
and throw them in the
Right.
scrap iron 5 years from now. when-
Again,
That would be a bad investment.
Right.
I would agree with you.
And then
Really
But
pile
it is-
on.
But in the
yeah.
day-to-day, the kids are going to school, the roof is the roof, there's
Well,
issues
well,
there.
well, to
And
that
what are
point.
the, like, do we have, as long as we have the
Why
certification
did
from
we
the
want-
safety engineers that
Right.
nothing bad is gonna happen? I mean, I'm open to
I
anything.
don't know why they couldn't put a
But
net up there.
I
that
wanna
catch those
hear,
slate
I wanna
shingles.
hear it from the engineers. You don't wanna hear it from me.
There are ways they can.
You wanna hear from the
put it down.
engineers.
They could do some repairs if they had to. I mean, the roof's probably 100 years old, it's slate, I don't think there's a expiration date of,
Again, I don't know.
like, the Green Deal there, all over.
What I know is, I don't want anything blowing off the roof onto any of the kids on the
I,
playground.
but I,
No,
I.
it's probably
I
been
wanna-
happening for 20 years
No,
now.
but to be clear though, I wanna do the roof now, but not if we're gonna do another study. You know what I mean? That's my whole point.
Defer-
I was on
I'll
a
defer to
plan
the
and I would
engineers.
support doing the continued process that we've already gone down on the central school. But.
My opinion is, we should defer that to, if we're gonna defer projects to maybe potentially a special town meeting in the fall, I would say pass over that one. By then, the
I'd like
study
to
might
hear
be-
some kind of statement from any of the folks who are, certifying the building that nothing is gonna happen. I know, no one can certify that nothing's gonna happen, but.
Well,
I
Rob,
mean,
that's not gonna
that
happen.
it's- That
so
it's safe.
We get a vote.
As long as it's safe, I'm okay with deferring, so long as it's safe.
No one
Find,
knows.
find an
No one
engineer
knows.
that's gonna write that.
Yeah,
No one knows,
you know
Rob. We're
what,
never gonna know that
Certified-
answer.
You get the CPE,
Make a decision on what we have information today. If you're not comfortable,
Yeah.
then don't vote. I mean, vote against it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But that's what we're here for.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know what you're saying, but we don't have the answers, and no one is gonna give you that. No one's gonna say, the roof is safe, or it's unsafe. They're gonna say, oh, there's some shingles that are loose, they could fall off and could hit somebody. Okay, that's true. But there's ways to repair
Right, I
those.
might fall off my bike.
You know what I
we
mean?
could-
So, but we have to figure, we just have to make some decisions, so.
Right.
And whatever you're comfortable with, I know.
I'm just trying to direct the conversation to the idea that it's not the schools that are driving
No one's,
whether we're
no,
gonna.
no, 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 we understand
Invest
that.
in the infrastructure
We-
of
we-
the buildings or not.
That's been designed out of the schools on purpose.
Right.
That's why we have a facilities director.
Then-
That's
then
for
we're
that
all-
exact reason, because principals were not qualified to manage buildings.
Right.
They were educators, not
Yeah.
facilities, so we hired Brian Kiley
Yep.
at a good salary to run the facilities, and that's all coming from him.
Then I'm on board.
So so we're not blaming the
But-
schools, we're not saying anything
If we're
against the
talking about
schools.
whether or not there's a study to be done or not, or a vote to be done or not, I defer.
Right.
I defer.
Okay. All right, so let's,
We need to prioritize the list.
yeah, let's look at the bonds. Let's look at the
Time
bonds
on
right now.
task.
So the bonds. You know, now we have 5, is that correct?
So you already got the 3 plus the
The middle school,
the
the
infrastructure
radios
upgrade.
for the fire,
So
the
there's 4.
infrastructure for IT,
Yeah.
roads,
What's your 5th one?
school server, Rob
The 170.
mentioned, and then he mentioned the central school Wi-Fi,
Yeah, the
central school, middle school Wi-Fi.
170 upgrade is our number one priority.
Okay.
And that was for what school?
What's the server for?
It's for the, I think it's the middle school and high school. Hold on.
Do you
Server
remember that
operating system.
conversation?
Yeah. But I think it's all the service.
It's all, it's all 3.
Yeah, it's all the service, school service.
They're trying to integrate everything so that everyone's talking to each other in the same way, at the same time, on the same system.
And the generator's not on this, because it should be covered underwater, I think is what
Right.
John said. So, personally, I have the school server, the roads, the infrastructure for the IT, the radios for the fire, and the school vegetable.
I'm with you, Dave.
Is the ones that I think need to be voted on and move forward. I think the Wi-Fi for the central middle school can hold off, because it is $73,000.
Right.
And,
Agree.
and,
So the town wireless and the school wireless, again,
Yep,
they
and
should be
we're-
done
and we're gonna-
together.
and-
work
and
with the
we know that
firms.
the generator goes on water, and we're gonna ask the,
Fire chief, maybe?
fire to see if we could do the ambulance fund on the radio upgrade.
Correct. Well, yeah, that's a slash move, so I know, that's the question, because it's moving to the police department, correct?
Right. They're gonna consolidate that.
Good, that's a good point, Dave.
Do you know what I mean? So it might not be able to be ambulance.
Right, right.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, right, in the town wireless, I passed over on, so I passed over the town wireless, the DPW, the central school interior, and the central school roof. As Brian stated when he was here, yeah, we have some leaks here and there, and we'll just manage with the bucket and whatnot we have to do.
I mean, I would like to, on the street sweeper, or maybe we can defer that vote to the.
October.
Yeah, to the October when we.
True, so
yeah.
the ones that I called off, I think we're 5 of them now, those are the ones I'd like to vote on, if everyone agrees and think that they're the main priority out of this whole list.
I-
All the other ones, we're gonna defer until
Well,
the fall.
Okay, so, well, there was a couple that I'd like to make sure that I thought that we were on the path of, and let me, when it came to the,
Bonds, right?
I'm on, well, okay, so you said the whole list.
Let's just do, no, the
bonds.
bond,
Still on
the
bond.
bond list.
Just the bottom portion, Chris.
Okay, so I'm fine with the bottom portion then.
Okay, so everyone good on the vestibule,
Yep.
the radios,
Yep.
the infrastructure upgrade, IT it says,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the roads,
Yeah.
and the school servers.
Right.
Yep.
Good.
Everyone's good? on
Agreed.
that? Okay, so then we just have to then just do
Stop.
votes on each
Yeah.
of them.
So first one, school,
highlight
Mr.
it,
School vestibule fob system, $50,000. Do I have a motion for that?
Motion.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Rob?
I forgot you had
Oh,
a
yeah, do it,
procedure.
whoever's doing them.
So, yeah, it's Dave and
That's
then
right.
Rob.
Dave and Rob, yeah. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, unanimous. Approved. Next one is the radio system upgrade move for the fire department for $65,000.
Motion.
Motion,
Second?
second. Any discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
One abstention there, if it's going to police.
Okay,
If it ties into that.
it might, yep, Tim abstained. Okay, next one, IT, infrastructure upgrade, $132,500. Motion?
Yep.
Wait, I'm sorry, just real quick, which one, 132
Yeah.
Yep.
for
Infrastructure.
infrastructure? Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's the
132.5.
town
That's the IT town
service.
side, yeah.
That's all the service for the town as well.
Just want to make sure.
Okay, second?
Second?
Okay. Any further discussion on that one? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, unanimous?
We gotta just finish the vote for roads.
Yeah, we never finished.
So we'll do the roads, so that we already had a motion and a second for the roads.
There was.
We had discussion. Any further discussion on the roads? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, ayes have it. Okay, and the school server replacement for 170,000, give or take a couple
Yeah,
dollars.
yep.
Uh,
Motion.
Motion,
Second.
second. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Approved. I think that's it. So, just for the record, we will be passing over, or deferring to potential fall special town meeting. Town wireless upgrade for 112,000. The street sweeper for DPW for 246,000. Central school interior for 418,000. And central school roof for 432,000. And the school wireless upgrade for 73,000.
Correct.
So those will be potentially deferred.
And we're adding the generator for the water
Yeah.
department up in the one-time payments?
Yeah.
That's correct?
Actually, just one thing that I didn't mention, and I'm sorry, the wireless upgrade to the Mitchell and Central School is, there's a 50% reimbursement on that. So it's actually only gonna cost the town 36,708
Oh,
tonight.
okay.
Yeah, I
Can't believe
remember
that.
I remember that discussion.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if we
Is that
wanna,
a,
I'm not sure about the time sensitivity of it.
Yeah,
Um,
does that package say anything, is that?
I don't
it?
know, it didn't have a timeline. It was a lot of heat maps.
Right.
So I'm not exactly sure what the timeline is on this.
And from June to October is.
Sorry, I was so focused on
Just
the
gonna say, I'm with you,
170.
Glenn, I don't know how much it could increase.
Yeah, a couple of months, is it gonna, we're gonna lose that rebate, or, will it still be valid? It's not that long.
FI professional services.
Yeah, it's within the same year.
Right.
Typically, if you stay within the same calendar year, you're okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Typically, but
Well, we can leave it.
I can,
Leave it for now,
let
and
me
you can get
do it,
some
and I can amend it
information.
if I need to before the town meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that fair?
Well,
Yep.
I don't know if we can add it on. I mean, that's the wireless one, right? Wireless upgrade?
Yeah, I just don't wanna see the town lose
We
36
passed
grand.
it over,
for-
so we're not
Do you
voting
wanna
yet.
do a
wanna
vote on it and continuously, you know, and we can hold. the-
Contingent on the-
Contingent on,
if-
right.
If it can wait until the fall.
What do you guys think? Are you okay with that?
Does that pass muster? I just hate to see us lose 36 grand for.
If it's,
If
if
it
it
can
can
wait
wait
to
to
the
the
fall, yes.
Yeah, if we can wait, we'll wait, but if we can't, and we potentially could lose 36,000 grand,
Because we're.
I'd rather jump on that, because that's good money.
Me and
Yeah.
Glenn are meeting with the selectmen on Monday to give them a vote. Rob can get back to us before then,
Yeah,
and then we can
Yeah.
add it or subtract it.
I'm sorry, I was so
Okay.
hyper-focused on the 170, because that was
Yeah.
my number one.
How's that, Rob? Can you find out and
Yep,
get
oh,
back to us
absolutely.
by the end of this
Absolutely.
week?
I can
Okay.
get back to you by
So
tomorrow
I'll make a
morning.
Motion
Okay.
on that 73 with the reimbursement of half,
Okay.
and we're gonna get some more information from Rob, but let's vote on it.
Okay, second.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? So the vote is for the school's wireless upgrade for 73,417 with the rebate, E-rate rebate of 50%. Contingent on that. We would like to defer to the fall on that. If that's going to hinder the rebate, then we will keep it on the warrant for the June meeting.
Correct.
Okay. All in favor with that? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. It's approved. Okay.
Does anyone wanna
So
take a shot
first-
at the priority list for the top?
First thing, the first three we don't have to vote on. They're under 20,000. They're not capital projects.
right, because they're all
Do
gonna
we
be
need
free
to put a
cash, I mean.
recommendation in?
No?
No? Okay.
Well, where's the, one of the ones, so how'd we leave it with the fire department, I mean, the police department's building there? Are they still under the funds of the last, or did they request
They got
anything?
nothing in here for that,
For what?
for the,
So they stayed within the
Garage.
previous?
Oh, right, right.
so we got the generator for the water department. Is what I see, right?
Right.
And then we have the, school signs, because it's over 20, is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yeah,
The police phone upgrade, which is part of the radio upgrade.
right,
We got the police server.
yeah.
I got the, how come we have the IT firewall down here too?
That's pulled off. That was before
That's pulled off?
John Shea
Yeah.
pulled that off.
Okay,
Same with the auditorium stage lights.
okay.
Did you pull up the lighting?
I think you did.
Just check this.
The
Oh,
classroom,
wait a minute. Oh, that's being,
I don't think you pulled off the lighting.
oh, no, that's just not being paid. That's being paid by them, I think. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, revolving fund. We still got to
Yep,
vote
that's coming out
that.
of the revolving fund, you're right.
we have to vote that?
Yeah,
Okay, so.
that's 23,000, so that's kind of like the water department, so.
We got the police server, the classroom projectors is on here, but it's not on my priority list, I'm sorry. The kitchen fan is on my priority list, the Mitchell School wheelchair, the school IT backup, what's that? Is that in part of the other?
The wheelchair ramp was pulled as well, because that's part of, that was gonna be part of the central school upgrade.
But this is the middle school,
Oh, that's the middle school one?
Yeah, this is the
Okay.
Mitchell.
Mitchell, because the elevator's broken,
Oh, all right.
so they're gonna make a ramp instead of having an elevator.
Yeah, so this is what John had said. Mitchell School wheelchair ramp, 35,000, included facility request. So John had pulled it
Right,
off.
so he took it off of
Yeah,
the
we took that
schools,
off.
so it's in the facilities. So technically, it says schools, it should say Brian, you know, the facilities.
Right, so where do you, where is it?
Maybe he has that.
Change the,
Mitchell
like,
School.
from school to DPW, but that's not on his list of
I'm wondering
priorities.
Yeah,
It was at school.
Not that it's not a priority, it's just not the school.
But did Brian wrap it into one of those 418?
I was gonna say, could it be in the central school interior?
no, because
It's the Mitchell
this
Oh,
is
School.
Mitchell
That's
School.
right.
Well, continue with my priority list, I have that in there. But the IT backup system, the 35, is that part of what we just voted on, Rob?
Yes.
So that's scratched?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I got the central school security cameras in there, cause that's for the police department to be able to help secure the school. I have the cruiser in, and the SUV, which is for fire, which is gonna come out of the ambulance fund. In the IT office, 365,
Migration, yeah.
that's for just the town hall, is that correct, or who is that for?
I think that's for the
That was
town.
town employees.
Oh, okay. So I got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Are you just listing
8,
every item, is that what you're doing?
9, 10, I got 11 on my priority list.
So, are you just going through the whole list, or you
I went through
prioritize?
the whole list, and I just threw out that priority list so that you guys can just all talk about it if you agree, because we have to make up a priority list, what we're gonna vote on.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? You can still vote on the other ones, but you can say, okay, this will be after this or something like that.
Right, I mean, it's just very difficult to vote on anything without knowing a cash situation.
Original.
Yeah, financing, so, you know, a lot of these items are free cash, so how do we do that?
There is free cash available. We just don't know the exact amount.
Well, that could be $10, and that could be $1 million, so like, which one is it?
I thought Phyllis, when we met,
We
said
thought
it was
700.
1.3.
1.3?
Yeah.
Which is,
That's more than I thought it was.
so she's,
That's, I mean, that was just a quick
Yeah.
mention by Phil. I don't want to hold her to that.
Sure.
And that was just in a meeting. So that's why the whole discussion came up. Like, George really would need to kind of confirm that figure, so. But it's more than $10, but I don't know exactly how much. So you're right. By doing all these, I don't know if we have the 465 that this all adds up to, so I don't know.
that's what I'm trying to say, is, I understand prioritize, I mean, we could prioritize, but how do you vote on them until we really know?
Well, just like we talked about, you can vote on, 'em, put them on the article,
Amend it on the town.
put them on the town floor, and then when
town
they
floor.
come back and say, hey, we don't have that kind of money. Okay, then, capital, what do you guys want to pull off? We'll have another meeting.
So we can have another meeting where
We would
when
have to have
find
another,
out the funds.
because my point to it is that, let's say that hypothetically, we get 60% of what we see here.
Mhm.
Then we have to prioritize that.
Right.
If that.
So then we'll prioritize what we want to pull off,
So we'll have to have another meeting to prioritize that. We will have that option to do that?
yes.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
set a date and have a meeting.
Just real quick, how far in advance do we have to have that? Is it the 90-day rule?
Well, that's why we need to vote.
We've got all our 90-day,
No,
like,
it's-
everything needs to be in there. I'm
It's
just
not
curious.
90 days, but we need to vote now to get the articles written and
Right.
this warrant finalized, so it can be certified, voted by selectmen, published, printed,
We're
published.
supposed to have this in by the 25th, so we're already.
We have a little bit of leeway
April.
because I think that
No,
was,
This month.
Oh, okay.
but that was for the
Wait.
May meeting. Since we moved
This
it
month
to
is
June, I
March.
think
What-
we've got a couple more weeks, so.
Yeah.
But we need to do this tonight, so
Yeah.
now the selectmen can move forward with getting this warrant finalized.
Right.
And then we can meet, in, late May or early June, long as before the meeting.
Still give them
and
time
get-
for
they say, "Hey,
printing
listen,
and get it to the
here's what we have
town
for
and meet
number."
all of our
No,
statutory requirements.
No, we leave it all on, and then at town meeting, we just, when the article comes up, we say, we would like to pass this over,
Okay,
you know?
okay.
So that's,
As long as we have an option to
Right.
rediscuss if things change.
yeah. So,
Remember, Glenn
I-
sits up front and then he says that we
Right.
recommend or we don't, or we passed over.
remember, the
or-
capital
No,
planning, we,
No, I understand
we-
that.
we,
It just, the only
we
trouble.
moved the articles forward to the town meeting, capital requests.
Yeah.
So all capital requests come into the capital committee, it's like a subcommittee, and then we decide what goes into the articles.
Right.
And then I present them to the town, so
Yep.
we have the option as a committee to rethink that, to say, okay, we originally had these on the article, but our committee.
With new
Because
information,
new
we have the
information,
ability
of
to
funding,
be
we're
flexible.
recommending
I
passing
like
over
Well,
these.
and that's the only thing I'm asking is that you being the chairman.
Right.
That, if things change, that we have the
We absolutely have a
option,
meeting.
because
Yeah.
quite frankly, if I vote on it and then you go forward and approve something,
Right.
I did
Yeah.
vote on it.
Right, right.
So that's what I'm trying
Oh,
to
well,
say. you
no,
know
we
what I
can't
mean?
do that.
Yeah,
No.
gotcha. All right.
No, we're very careful about that kind of stuff. We can't put something on there that hasn't been voted.
No, I understand that, but we're voting and hypothetically approving
Right.
today.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm saying, but then we don't get the funding that we want.
Right.
We have an option as a table.
Absolutely.
To be able to come and change it, that's all I'm saying.
That's what we talked about at the beginning. That's why we had two choices. We could approve, we could pretend we have the money for all this, vote as we
I
normally
know,
would,
you know what, I
then
mean,
pull them off at town meeting,
you know,
or
I-
we defer to
Yeah.
the special town meeting in the fall.
I understand 100%, and I hate being as ignorant to this as I am, but it's very unusual to run something like
It
this.
is, it's very unusual, because George, this critical time, he's usually here, got, providing us whatever information we need, like you said, Ron. You need information, George, we could call him on the phone sometimes, right in the committee.
Right.
And George is part of our.
And he's
group.
part of our
And I
committee. A lot
know
of times
that,
we'll have him
and
vote.
So that's the part.
We'll have a conference call with him, we'll have him call in, but he'll give us information right up to the last minute, whatever we need, and so it really helps the committee for that reason.
does, and we
Now,
rely
without
on
him,
him.
it is a little,
Especially
flying a
when
little
his
blind.
last message to us was that he was not gonna vote for any bondable item.
Right.
That's
Into the
very,
breach.
very,
So,
Yep.
like we did for the bonds, the ones I called off is the ones that I think that we should vote on now, and then the other ones we will defer to the fall. Does anyone want to adjust that?
Can you
that
call
list?
yours off again?
So I have the generator.
you're going down the bondable ones now?
You start from top to
Just
bottom?
One
Or
time.
just-
One time.
One time.
You start from the top?
I wrote the generator in. I don't know if everyone has that on there.
The generator I put at the top,
Generator,
yeah.
73,000.
That's out of the water.
Water fund.
That's a
Yeah.
no-brainer, yeah.
Then I skipped down to the town hall exterior cameras, which is 8,800.
It's not bondable.
No, that's, what,
Yeah, but we're still voting on it?
no, we're not
No.
voting on
Okay.
those.
Only 20 grand and up, right?
Right.
Okay. Then the pedestrian school signs. Then I have the phone upgrade system for the police, which is part of the radio system, because they're taking all the 911 calls.
Right. The stage light, the lighting, because the school's funding that, out of their revolving fund, so I think we should vote that.
All right, if
The
that's coming out of
23,
the school's revolving fund, then I can vote on that.
Right.
The police server room.
Yeah.
Then I skipped down
That's the
to-
reconfiguration that we
Yes,
saw
the
knocking down the
reconfigured
wall?
service room,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then I skipped down to the, central school exhaust fan for the
Yeah.
kitchen.
Exhaust,
yep.
We have done a lot of work in that kitchen. And then the Mitchell School wheelchair ramp.
The school's gonna fund that one too, the exhaust fan.
But that comes out of food services
That's kind of
revolving,
food
right?
services, right, so we can vote on that, yep. What about the ramp, did we agree on the ramp as part of this,
On the-
Brian's?
On the Mitchell,
Yeah,
so is that a facilities?
that's on the,
Well, John had pulled it off his list and said it was included in the facility request, but do we get facility requests separate? Do you remember?
I don't remember, we can look.
I'm trying to remember that discussion. For some reason, I thought they already started doing this. No?
Alright, well, let's skip it then for now. And then I went down to the central school cameras, which was for when the police kinda asked about that. Chief was here about that. Marked cruiser, police cruiser,
Right.
SUVs for the fires coming out of the fire
Right.
ambulance fund. And then the Office 365. Everything else was either passed over.
There wasn't much left.
Well, that's pretty much the whole list.
I understand that.
So it's, yeah, so you got the whole list, pretty much.
Yeah, but two of them, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are coming out of the funds.
Right, they're under funds,
Separate funds.
right.
Yeah, the school's funding a lot of this stuff.
Again, you know, we can vote on it and then maybe change it.
Right.
Right.
And you know what, like I mean, the SUV, do we know if, is that out of ambulance fund?
Yes,
All right. And, did we check on what vehicle that was gonna be again? Is that a,
another Explorer.
Right.
That's going to the chief, his is going down to the deputy chief, I believe.
Yeah.
And then their old Tahoe, I think, is coming over.
right?
Right of a Tahoe, the
Okay,
old
so,
40s.
so,
Oh, yeah.
and just, again, you have a few things here that are on central school. I mean, exhaust fan and things like that have to be fixed, but security and cameras and whatnot, I mean, do we do that if we're going through the renovation process?
I would say
I
yes.
vote yes.
I would say yes on security.
I think it's very important to them.
I agree. Okay.
Are they interior cameras or exterior cameras?
I don't
I
remember.
believe these were the interior cameras that they could see everything that was going on in the school right from the police department.
It is, it's just, you know what, we have like an interior process of remodeling that's also in here, that they should coexist. You don't go to put the cameras up first and then rip it down the next year and do the interior walls. I mean, I'm sorry, but there's gotta be a better path of how we institute the repairs and what we're gonna do over there.
I don't think that 418 interior is a major remodel. Like, that was including like bathrooms and stuff, do you know what I mean? I don't.
Basically said the building was gonna look the same, it was just bringing things up to code.
Right.
Yeah.
So that 418 allow was for the bathroom stuff. They're gonna redo the bathroom, make them ADA compliant, new fixtures and things like that. That's, but as far as the halls and all that, I mean, we're not touching any of that with this kind of money. So that's way more money.
I understand, I was just, you know what, I get-
I know your concern.
Well, it just, you know, to me, I'd be putting drop ceilings over there and running things in and
Well,
not having to
well,
rip it
what-
apart again. but-
One other thing, some history of the Capitol, you know, I've been on it for over 20 years, and, you know, the high school was a good example of us still paying bonds for high school stuff that we put in 2 years before we tore it down.
Yeah.
You know, and that just, really, it hurt the Capitol, and, you know, every payment you make, it's like, man, you know, we couldn't salvage a lot of that stuff,
Yeah.
which was unfortunate. You know, we did cameras over there, like maybe 3 years or 4 years before, they weren't compatible with the new high school stuff, so they're out, you know, toss them.
Well,
Someone has them
I just
probably,
don't- I
but
mean, you know,
they're
again,
valuable.
it could be, you know, they could be wireless for all I know. I'm just that,
Yeah.
if there's some way that we
You
can.
just don't wanna see good money
No, I don't wanna
thrown
do
in the
it.
dumpster.
Not,
But we're
not,
still
not a
looking
year
at
later and
the-
change it, and those all gotta go in the trash, we gotta do it again. It just,
Right.
you know.
Right.
a
But
little-
this is,
a
this
little-
is coming in with coordination between the school system and the police department.
Right.
To ensure safety.
Yeah.
And, you know, so again, we can't put it all in the schools. This is a recommendation coming from two of our department heads to say that this is the way to do it.
Mhm.
And I don't think either one of them are, you know, spendthrifts.
Right.
They understand their budgets and they're both competing for things, and they came together and said, this is the way to do it. And if I ever see any evidence where I think that they're throwing money, good money after bad, I'd shout out, but I don't see that here.
35,
see
that's
safety.
31.
So,
Let's vote on that.
but I understand your point.
No, you know what,
I
I mean,
understand your point.
it
You
could
don't
be as
wanna-
simple as,
I don't wanna paint my
as
house
part
just
of the
before I burn it
process
down.
That's the
of
ramp
having
that
a
says
plan
school
and,
here.
Yeah.
So
That's
it
the only thing
changed.
that Brian.
I'm not saying not to
gave
do
us?
it, I'm just,
I think so.
we're all over the board, we're putting cameras on something that we're talking about
I don't remember.
going down.
Well, that generator went under
But
water.
again, to the point, we're not
Yeah.
talking about
I
like
got that from an email
hardwiring
from
the
John,
entire
so that's
building.
why I had that.
There's a lot of technology that is cheap and,
I
not
mean,
cheap,
the other
but
stuff for Brian
valuable,
is this other
The big stuff, okay.
Exactly.
inexpensive.
All right.
It
and
says
effective.
schools, but it should really say DPW slash.
So
That's a
grand,
one,
right.
that's,
Facilities.
that's a one thing I would say,
Okay, so let's vote
if
the
anything,
wheelchair.
right? So the safety with this crazy world we live in, that's a one thing. If you had to throw money in the trash because you put up cameras,
I get it,
that's,
I guess what I'm, not that
but
I'm,
not like a trap.
I would just
Right, right.
like to have a little bit of insight to, what, whoever's installing, that we're gonna be doing A, B, and C, and if we do it like this, then it's not gonna get disturbed, or not, you know what I mean, like, don't just let somebody go, and then it'll also be pulled down, and,
Right.
you know what, I
I
just
agree
hope.
there.
Huh?
I agree.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's great, but I also think that our police department is saying, this is what we need to keep
I
our
understand, but I don't expect my
kids
police
safe.
department to be a construction agent, that's what I'm trying to say, is like,
Yeah.
I just would like to see it
That's why we
installed,
go to bid.
that we don't let it,
We've
well,
got a
we,
good, we got a good number for a good product.
See, what
Good people
happens,
recommend it.
Rob, is everyone has the good interests, good
Of course.
good intentions, right? So that's a good idea for the cameras, for the school, the police, all that. But then we talk about the big picture of the building itself. And what happens is people kind of work a little bit in silos.
No, you don't need,
know?
yeah, you
So
don't,
no,
believe me, you don't need to explain that to
right,
me.
so Chris is saying, who's looking at the big picture to say, does this make sense right now, given what we're considering? And
Right.
I don't know who, except this committee, I don't know who else is, it goes back to, like a big town plan.
Yeah.
What are we doing each year, with, infrastructure, with budgets, we talked about, a little bit about that, about, having an organized town plan for 5 years out, talks about all that stuff. And, that's a selectman, that's driven from the top of the house.
Right.
And has a strategic plan, and
Or-
having consultants come in and help develop that, I mean, I think that's where that would help avoid some of those type of things.
You know what, and you're right, and to me, what I mean, if we're going forward, it's not to go like a project to bring in all new drop sealants would leave, an access for heating and,
Right.
wiring and, cameras and all those things, so that we would have something that would, we're building towards something that stays.
Right, right.
That's all. I mean, maybe maybe
I
they
don't
can do
know,
that.
I don't know if that means school code, I have no idea. I'm a consumer of police protection, fire protection, my kids go to schools, I use the library, I drive on the roads, I pay my taxes, a lot of taxes, just like everybody else. So I kind of feel like I have a pretty good wraparound about
Yeah.
what the big picture is, so,
Okay, let's get,
All right.
let's get back on track. So the Mitchell School ramp, that was a request by facilities,
Yeah.
so,
It is in their facility?
yeah, it is,
So, and he did that in lieu of the elevator.
right.
Correct.
So,
The elevator's,
With that.
I think we need to do that,
turned off,
Yeah.
doesn't work.
right, so, with no elevator.
We can vote on that one,
Yeah.
right?
ramp.
Alright, so we wanna go to Jen? Is that the top?
Yeah,
So motion on the generator coming out of the water fund, 73.
motion, second?
Second.
Any further discussion on the generator? Everyone good with that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
The, town hall cameras is 8,600, you said we don't have to vote on that?
Right.
Okay.
So
The
schools,
school
zone
zone
signs and
signs,
pedestals?
motion, 20 grand.
motion,
Second.
any discussion on that? Everyone okay with that? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Police phone system upgrade, 21,000. Motion.
Dan a chance to catch up. Motion, do we have a second, Rob?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Okay.
Motion on the school auditorium stage lighting and soundboard, 23,734, coming out of their revolving fund.
Yeah. Second?
Second.
Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Police server room, 24,500. Motion.
Second, Rob?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion on that? Tim, are you gonna abstain from that?
Abstain all police, yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Central School Kitchen Fan, Phase 4. Out of the Food Service Fund, 33,850.
Second,
Second.
okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
So the projector one came off?
Yeah, we passed
Yes,
over that.
yep. Mitchell School wheelchair ramp, 35,000.
Second,
Second?
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Central School security camera replacement, 42,350.
Second?
Second,
I'm sorry, when you announce it, is that the motion?
Yeah.
Oh,
motion.
okay.
Yeah.
any further discussion on the cameras? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Police marked cruiser, 46,124.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? Tim, you're abstaining?
Abstain.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Fire SUV, 45,700 coming out of the ambulance fund.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Office 365 migration, 49,000.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
So all the other things, we're gonna pass over the schoolroom projector. The, what do we got here?
The IT backup system?
That was withdrawn, right?
Right.
That was withdrawn. And the voting booths and the hours.
So the only thing we're passing
stuff
over is
was-
the projectors for
yeah.
33.
It wasn't bondable, or wasn't 20,000.
So who makes the decision on the ones that are under 20?
Town floor.
So they just go on automatically?
Finance will recommend, but the capital doesn't have to. They're not coming from capital.
So I'm just wondering how they make it from, because they were turned in as capital requests, even though they don't meet the 20,000, how do they make
We'll
it?
just go right onto the article,
They will, okay.
right onto the town warrant. So again, I know we had talked earlier at the beginning of the meeting about this, so we'll present this to the selectmen.
On Monday?
What we voted. They can put it on the warrant, get the warrant all finalized and approved and voted and distributed, and then when we get more information, we'll have a meeting before town meeting. We should have the meeting anyway, in case me or Dave or someone talks to George or the selectmen.
Sure.
Just so everyone's on the board. I don't want people to get, our committee to be surprised at town meeting. So we'll have a meeting, even if it's a 20-minute meeting, just to talk through what the final decisions were, so we're all on the same page, and then we'll go to town meeting and that'll be that. And then, there's not a lot we deferred to the fall. I don't know, if we'll need a special town meeting. It depends if the selectmen don't want to pass over a lot of these because of the uncertainty, then there's more money later on. Like, I'm not sure what's going on with George, if he's gonna be back or not, or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on with him, so if they don't have a lot of information, we may just they may recommend passing over a lot of these to the fall. And then we'll have a meeting and talk about it, and then at the meeting, I'll just pass over the ones that we decide with the selectmen to pass over, so.
In bonding, there's 1.1 million we passed over.
Right, well, that's right,
Bonding, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
so we did pass over some.
That's true.
Right.
A good amount.
School, central school things, really.
John Sweeper,
Right,
so
right,
we
just-
should probably have another town meeting, a special anyway,
We're gonna have to, yeah.
yeah, okay.
And Rob's gonna get back to us via.
About the 50%.
Email
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, so when we meet with the selectmen on Monday, we can address that.
The next meeting, we'll have to have a quick meeting to approve all the minutes. So once Dan gets these minutes ready, there's no, a week or whatever, if that's okay. We'll have a
Try to
quick,
do them quick, because remember what my chicken
I have
scratches.
some- I have some notes for you for the meeting that you came late at, I think.
Oh, okay.
that was a very quick meeting, I can help draft those.
Okay.
Then we'll just have a meeting, quick, 10-minute meeting, just to approve all the minutes, so we have that recorded and, get all that to the town clerk, and we'll be all set for the year.
Well, I think we should have a meeting anyway, once we get
Yeah.
a true forecast of.
Yeah, but I think we need to have a meeting to approve all the minutes first, and then we'll still have that meeting before town meeting. Okay?
Hopefully, it won't be long, right?
What's that?
Well, the approval should just take a,
No, for the numbers.
Well, we don't know, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
so it's that we
I don't know
find
what's
out.
going on with George. I have no clue what's happening, so if he comes back
Nobody does.
this week, great, and we'll have the numbers right away. If he's out another week or 2 or 3, then, I don't know.
Who's his proxy? Who's up next?
Right? Who's the backup? I don't know.
I don't know.
Called key man risk.
That is correct.
So,
Says the risk manager.
that's right, that's right, it's a real risk. For a lot of organizations, actually. but-
Yeah.
All succession planning, or lack of. So, all right, any other discussion? Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
okay,
Second.
second, all in favor? All right, okay,
Aye.
7:15. Oh, Zach?
Yeah, shut that thing off.